Hi guys, my name is Tuomas, this is Sound of Free, and in this video I will give you my list of top 10 Beach Boys Christmas songs. So it's actually really crazy to think that a group called the Beach Boys, who are mostly well known of their summer themed songs, actually wrote a bunch of so many Christmas songs, and if you even include the winter themed songs, that you can easily make a top 10 list of them. I think there's probably like 100 Beach Boys Christmas or slash winter themed songs if you include the solo material too. Maybe not 100, but at least 50. There's gotta be at least 50. But anyway, in my list I included stuff from the 60s, the 70s, and the solo stuff too. So there you go. If somebody would include on their top list only my Hugo is like, I don't know, trying to climb a wall or something. I don't know what he's doing. My dog. But anyway, if somebody would include just 10 best songs of the 64 Christmas album, I wouldn't blame them, because that album is exceptionally solid. It's super solid and great. Personally, I love the album, but I wanted to add, to just make it more interesting, add stuff from, other projects too. And a little disclaimer before we dive into the list: I'm not the biggest Christmas music listener. I mostly enjoy the melancholic Christmas songs that actually in Finnish culture we have quite a lot of those. So actually I prefer those mostly over the sort of the happy Christmas songs. But I do really love rockers too. So anyway, let's just dive straight into the list. These are not in any particular order, so there you go. First one on my list is Christmas Day from the 64 album, and it is the first lead vocal by Al Jardine. It's got really cool guitar playing by Carl, and I believe Dennis plays the drums. It sounds very simple, but it's actually very sophisticated. It's got really cool organ solo in the middle by Brian, and it's a short song, but it's really sweet. It's got a sort of melancholic vibe. It's very chill. So I love that mood, and I think that vocal performance is just so good. And it's actually, just realized it kind of has a little sort of, that guitar part, especially that intro, starts off with, it's kind of like Help Me Rhonda, the hit version. It kind of has a similar thing going on, sort of a guitar thing, which is pretty cool. Anyway, I love that tune. That's such a underrated gem, and I think that should be much more well known, but it's really overlooked. Second on my list is Christmas Morning. That's very fitting. It's actually kind of funny because I think there's like 7 songs on my list that kind of sound like the same title, either like Christmas Day or Christmas Morning or something. Anyway, Christmas Morning, and this is a Dennis Wilson tune from I believe 78. It was meant to be released on their 70s Christmas album, and this is one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs by anyone. It is so melancholic, and Dennis wrote the whole song, so lyrics and music, which is kind of rare for Dennis. It's very cinematic, sort of ambient-esque, and it's got really dramatic feeling, and his vocal is just so soulful. So anyway, it's very unknown, so if you haven't heard it, I don't blame you, but you really need to go and listen to that. I think it was released on the Christmas with the Beach Boys compilation album. There's quite many of those. One is Christmas Harmonies, I believe, but I think it was on that one. Third one on my list is Little Saint Nick, and this is kind of a no-brainer. It's a really cool tune, and it's probably the most well-known Beach Boys tune. I don't know, but it's got to be in the top 3 or something, but probably a lot of people don't actually know that it's by the Beach Boys, but it's just a Christmas standard. And each Christmas the Beach Boys bump up in the sort of streaming numbers. I don't know, I think they like double or triple their streaming numbers in Christmas time, mainly because of Little Saint Nick. And so it's very well known all over the world, and it just has become this sort of Christmas classic. It got me a while to actually figure out what the song was about. It was actually just lately when I sat down and actually read the lyrics, because they made no sense to me previously, because there's like singing about a cat and dressed up in red, and I thought it was about the Saint Nicholas, the song. So I was like, what the heck is that? It didn't make any sense to me, those lyrics. So I actually just had to sit down and read the lyrics, and now it kind of makes sense to me. It's actually about that sled. So, you know, there you go. It was kind of complicated to me lyrically. And I think it's very good production. And if you think about it, I think the Beach Boys actually did this in '63 originally. So I think it's kind of precursor to those greater productions of the, like on the All Summer Long album and Today and so on. So it's got a really nice production. It sounds very cool. Fourth one on my list is Blue Christmas. I'm not actually the biggest fan of this song itself, but just the vocal performance of the young Brian on this tune is so beautiful. And it's one of those rare, I think it actually might be the only example of a solo Brian Wilson vocal performance on a full song, on a recorded song, in like a studio recording. At this time, like the early years, with no harmony vocals, no backgrounds, no doubling, nothing. It's just his raw vocal, and he is so good. And I think this is kind of overlooked sometimes too. Fifth one on my list is then Child of Winter. And this is a controversial one. I don't know why, because I really love this tune. It's one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs. It's so catchy. It's a really cool composition. It's got really nice structure with different sections. It kind of reminds me of Little Saint Nick in that sense, because it's just so catchy. It's got so many little melody licks and things and parts going on, and the background, the production is great, the harmonies are great, and it's funny. It's got a really cool rocking melody, which I really love. Mike's vocals are great, and the tag part, the whole thing, I just really love it. You know, but it's kind of a silly song, and I'm really sad that the Beach Boys, you know, dropped the ball on this one again, you know, once again, and released it basically on like Christmas Eve. I think they released it on 23rd of December, so there was like no way of it getting any radio play. But if they had actually put it out as a single in like in November, I think it could have been a really big hit, and probably would have been a big hit, because the Beach Boys were pretty big around this time. Sixth one on my list is then Winter Symphony. This is a Brian Wilson solo composition and lyrics, one of Brian's best lyrics in my opinion, and a really good lead vocal too. And that middle section with those amazing dramatic horns and stuff, is the instrumental part is so beautiful. Technically it is not a Christmas song, but it is a winter song, and it was intended for their Christmas album in the late 70s, so that's why I included it here. And that album, by the way, would have been a killer album, mostly at least. It's a shame that it wasn't released. But maybe someday I don't know, it would be fun to get like a representation of... I know the tracks have at least mostly been released on compilations, but it would be cool to have that as a separate thing, as a sort of reimagined cover art and everything, because I think that would have been a really killer Christmas album. But yeah, Winter Symphony, it's once again an overlooked tune, really, really good production and vocal performance by Brian, and the lyrics and the whole thing, the melody is really nice, sets a really nice mood. I really love it. Seventh one on my list is actually a Mike Love solo song from his Reason for the Season, I think it's the album title, which was released, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago, something like that. Alone on Christmas Day, and it is actually, I think this one comes from the 70s Christmas album sessions, I believe, because it's got Ron Alpas co-write on it. So he also worked on this song, and this one I really dig. It's probably one of my favorite Mike Love solo songs, and yeah, it's just a really, I think the lyrics are really nice, the melody is really nice, the production's not too bad. It's very catchy too, and it's got a really like because I'm not the biggest fan of those sort of happy, cheerful Christmas songs. This is kind of not really happy, but it's got a sort of hopeful vibe. And it's got a melancholic side too, which is the reason why I really love it. And then 8th one on my list is Bells of Christmas, and it is the Christmas version of Bells of Paris, which is not the best song that the Beach Boys ever put out, and it's probably not one of my like least favorite of these tunes on my list too. But I really like the composition. I think it really has pieces of that Brian Wilson magic. I really love that string arrangement. It's so beautiful, and I can actually hear it in my head if I just think about this song. It's so pretty, and I think it's got really nice background vocal work by Brian and the guys. And the Christmas version is really nice because it doesn't have that tacky French part, and Alice doing the lead vocal. Though the lyrics, I wouldn't say that the lyrics are any better per se, compared to the Bells of Paris version. It's kind of really weird when he sings about Jesus, because it's like those words don't even really like line up with the melody. It's kind of just ends, and it's kind of very, I don't know, clunky. But still, anyway, I really do like it, at least the music of it. 9th one on my list is a Brian Wilson solo song, and it is On Christmas Day. So this is from the What I Really Want for Christmas album. I think actually this was recorded prior to that album. I think it was originally like a song that was put out on his website or something like that. Or am I mistaken? I'm not really sure. I think it was recorded actually separately. But it's a really great tune. It's kind of similar to some of the earlier work. Like it's got a little bit of similar stuff in the beginning, sort of that intro sounds kind of like Alone on Christmas Day, and then there's sort of sections that sort of borrow from the earlier, like Child of Winter, there's the ding dong thing, or ding dang, whatever, and then Merry Christmas Baby and stuff like that. So there's sort of like little references to earlier work by the Beach Boys and Brian. But still, I really like it. It's got a really nice production, and the vocal performance by Brian, and I really like Taylor Mills's background vocals on it. So it's a kind of different sounding, but it's a really nice tune anyway. And the lyrics are very Brian, like very, very Brian, and I think it works really well on the tune. And yeah, really like it. And the last one on my list is once again a Brian Wilson solo tune, and it is the title track from the What I Really Want for Christmas. And this song is kind of interesting because I don't think the verses are kind of not so memorable, but that What I Really Want for Christmas, that part, that is so pretty, and it is so memorable and catchy. And the whole tune, it kind of really sounds a lot like the Gershwin album tracks. Which is why I think I mostly like it, because the production is just really good, the vocals are really good, and anyway, I think the lyrics and the composition is pretty good too. Not one of Brian's best, but I think it's one of the better songs off of that Christmas album, and that Christmas album is very solid nonetheless too. But like I said, I'm just not the biggest Christmas music listener, really. But yeah, hey, let me know what your list would be, and if I forgot something essential, because there might actually be some tracks that I forgot to even consider for this list. Anyway, thanks for watching, and happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, everybody. And I'm not sure when we will see actually again with the next video, because I think I'm gonna take a little break right now for the holidays. But next year is going to be a very, solid one. I have a lot of plans, many different video ideas, and hopefully I'm able to continue doing at least one video a week or so. That's sort of my plan for 2025. But anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks everybody for joining me throughout this whole year. It's been really nice to sort of get to know you more and talk with you in the comment sections, and some of you have also written me like direct messages in Instagram. So thanks for everybody. I'm always not able to answer to everybody, because I actually run many other channels too, and I have my day job and, you know, life and everything, but I always at least read all the comments and all the messages and stuff, so all of that is very much appreciated. So thanks once again, and see you hopefully soon again on the next video. Take care, bye bye.